First Minister, Deputy First Minister, Secretary of State, Ministers of the Northern Ireland Executive, MPs, MLAs, fellow councillors, delivery partners, stakeholders and citizens of the Derry City and Strabane District Council area. I am delighted to welcome you here this morning to this event, which is designed to help us celebrate the signing of the heads of terms of our city deal. I would like to sincerely thank you all for giving up your time this morning to celebrate this important milestone with us. Today is a truly historical day in the life of this city and region, and it marks the single largest government investment into this area. Today, we reinforce our commitment in working together to bring inclusive growth, stability, investment and prosperity to our council area. A huge amount of work has been going on behind the scenes over the past number of years to get us to this stage of the process. As Mayor of Derry City and Strabane District Council, I wish to acknowledge the collaborative approach and the joint-up efforts of all our delivery and funding partners. The UK Government, the Northern Ireland Executive, Ulster University, the Western Health and Social Care Trust, the North West Regional College and CTRIC, and all our key stakeholders and civic and political leaders in getting us to this day. Throughout our inclusive strategic growth plan, we are committed to growing this city and district inclusively, and in a way that builds social value and community wealth. We believe that this city deal, with its focus on projects which will have the greatest impact on our economy, will help us deliver our ambitious plan to improve the well-being of all of our citizens. This morning's event is divided up broadly into two separate parts. Firstly, I have the pleasure of chairing the official part of proceedings, where we will have input from the First and Deputy First Minister, the Secretary of State and Ministers from the Northern Ireland Executive, following which we will sign the heads of terms. Then, during the second part of this morning's proceedings, I will hand over to our compere, Eve Blair. Eve will allow us to hear from some of the stakeholders who have helped us get to this stage and to discuss the impact of today's investment, which will have on our younger people, on our students, on how we as a city and district innovate, on how our city and town centre looks and feels, and on how our economy and tourism sector will recover post-COVID. I know that on a normal day, in normal circumstances, many of you would have wanted to join us here in the Guildhall, but unfortunately that couldn't happen. I have the honour and privilege to welcome many of the speakers here today, and I would like to start by introducing the First Minister for Northern Ireland, Arne Foster, MLA.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor, and it's really good to be with you from the Southwest today. I know this is a huge day for the Northwest, but it's really good to be with you and to mark this very significant event, which of course is a milestone in progress for the City Deal. And the City and Growth Deals initiative represents a £1.3 billion capital investment over the next 15 to 20 years across the whole of Northern Ireland. And that's made up, as has been pointed out by the Mayor, of executive investment, over 700 million, along with the United Kingdom Government contribution of over 600 million. And when I negotiated the confidence and supply agreement with the Conservative Party back in 2017 as DUP leader, City Deals were a key part of that agreement, as I recognised how much they could boost investment and help unlock the potential of Northern Ireland. Here in Londonderry and Strabane area, it means £250 million, which includes contributions from the Executive and Her Majesty's Government, and of course from the Council itself. The key aim of the City and Growth Deal agenda is to deliver accelerated investment in local areas to boost employment and productivity. It's about laying down the foundations which will result in more and better jobs and offer a greater sense of hope for the future. There's a real sense of vibrancy with City Deals, and that is reflected, I think, in the list of transformational projects under this scheme. They're brimming with innovation and ambition, and they cover a range of sectors such as technology, healthcare, innovation, research and education. And in terms of the university, of course, these projects are very good for Magee, and I look forward to seeing the plans for the whole of the university, including Belfast and Coleraine, given the commitment to the regional campus model by the university. Indeed, the projects today are not just aiming for regional benefits, they are looking to have impact nationally, internationally, and right across the globe. The city deal does represent a significant opportunity for the region and has the potential to boost the Northern Ireland economy as a whole. And the challenge for all of us is to build on the work to date with a view to delivering and maximising the benefits of each of the projects. Our 4 city and growth deals will help to tackle regional imbalance, which of course is very important as well, and allow for additional regional regeneration. They are delivered through a balanced spread of benefits across Northern Ireland, expanding connectivity, and of course improving the lives of our citizens. I very much look forward to the implementation of these projects. I realise there's still much to do, and the backdrop of a global pandemic only serves to make the task a little bit more problematic. But of course, it is heartening to see, despite all of that, that we have moved forward. And of course, none of this happens by accident. It requires collaboration, as the Mayor has already indicated, across government, across industry, and involving a broad range of stakeholders. And I do applaud everyone involved in the project so far for their commitment, for their dedication, for their efforts. And I really commend those who continue to work to turn the Northwest's great potential into reality. So in closing, this is a great start to the journey for Londonderry and Strabane City Region. And of course, you can be incredibly proud of how far you've come and look confident to the road ahead. And I look forward to making that journey with you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, First Minister, for your kind words and for your support throughout this process. We'll now move to the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Brandon Lewis, MP. Secretary of State.
Thank you for organising this in such a way that even in these times where we can't all be together in person in the way that we would like, we're able to still be able to facilitate coming together for an announcement like this. I would have personally loved to have been able to join you, and as others would, I know, in the Guildhall today. But I'm very glad that we've been able to do this virtually, that we've been able to see this programme of work get to this point in this important event. Today, signing those heads of terms for the Derry and Strabane City deal on behalf of the UK government, something I'm very, very pleased, indeed honoured to have the opportunity to be able to do. I'm very pleased as well to be able to see representatives, obviously yourself included, but from across the council and Northern Ireland, through the Northern Ireland Executive, with whom we're working very closely to ensure that we deliver on this hugely important and huge opportunity, this important investment for the region. Signing these heads of terms is a significant milestone. It's one that will deliver tangible benefits to not just the Northwest, but the whole of Northern Ireland. And it signals our commitment to delivering up and levelling up for all parts of the United Kingdom, and ensuring that as we come out of COVID, we're able to do so with a forward look to a turbo boost to the economy of the United Kingdom, and in this case, particularly the economy of Northern Ireland and obviously the northwest of Northern Ireland. I hope that this deal will see the delivery of around 10 major projects. And I think it's important that we remember that this deal is about a wide range of projects, ones that have a focus on innovation, digital and health projects, alongside renewal and regeneration initiatives. The £105 million of investment that the UK government is putting forward as part of that wider package with partners will support and give specific support to a suite of projects that build on the Northwest's existing advantages and reputation in healthcare, science, education, and in digital and communications technology, starting to create a new innovation corridor, one that will bring together researchers, business, and the local community. I'm hugely excited by the potential of these transformational projects and what they can mean for the wider area, job creation and economic growth. The Smart City and Digital Enabling Infrastructure Investment Programme and the focus on that, on the next generation technologies, which will play an important role in building a resilient economy for the future, is something we should all be very focused on ensuring we deliver. Likewise, projects such as the Centre for Industrial Digitisation, Robotics and Automation, the Cognitive Analytics Research Lab, both of which we will hear more about later, I know, today. These will help serve and to ensure that we are serving and delivering a future-proof Northern Ireland economy, and one that can grow and prosper with the opportunities and the expertise that we are seeing develop and grow locally. I'm delighted that our investment in the graduate entry medical school has enabled Ulster University to recruit for its first intake of medical students at Magee, and they'll be commencing training, hopefully restrictions allowing later this year. It's been fantastic for me to be able to go and visit the university to see the work and the passion and the development of that project. By ensuring that we are educating the healthcare workers of the future, we're able to continue to have a wonderful level of care and healthcare across Northern Ireland, and to ensure that we can deliver that into the future. Something we have all been hugely grateful for, that expertise from our healthcare professionals throughout this pandemic. And I think a reminder that it's something we must ensure that we continue to develop as we go forward. This is a tailor-made deal. It's one that's tailor-made for the Northwest, working with partners across the Northwest, both across government and the civic and business community. It's a partnership at all levels. And it's precisely what the UK government city deals and our growth deals are aiming to achieve and deliver. This package, boosting our economy, driving growth to come to an exciting region as a great place to live, work and invest. So I want to thank all of the partners who have been involved in bringing this deal together. All of those who have been part of the Derry City and Strabane District Council team and the Northern Ireland Executive itself. I'm delighted that although, as I said at the beginning, we can't gather physically in person to spend some time together today, the Council has been able to, and I think great credit to be able to bring virtually together everybody in such a wide range of stakeholders across the community, from Ulster University and the Northwest Regional College to Western Health and Social Care Trust, who have worked so closely together on this significant investment package. Something means that we can actually, at least virtually, celebrate this important day for the Northwest together in one form, if not in person. But I look forward, as the First Minister said, to us being able to join together in person to see this growth deal developing and delivering on the ground. And I look forward to continuing to work to support the delivery of these projects in the next stage of the City Deal programme. And I wish everybody involved in this project well, and a huge thank you for all of the time and effort and focus that everybody has put into it.
Thank you, Secretary of State, and thank you for your kind words and for the support from yourself and the government in getting us to this stage. I'd now like to call on the Deputy First Minister for Northern Ireland, Michelle O'Neill, MLA. Deputy First Minister.
Thank you very much, Mayor Tierney, and technology nearly let me down there, so I'm glad to be able to join you this morning on what is a hugely positive day for the Northwest, and hugely significant in many ways for Derry and Strabane and indeed the wider areas. I think just by way of opening up, I mean, I think we all acknowledge that this has been a very difficult and challenging year for many, and I suppose the Derry and Strabane area have had to deal with additional difficulties that Brexit also brings to this region. And then also on top of that, I suppose, not to mention the historic challenges, economic challenges and long-standing regional imbalance in the Northwest. So it's fantastic to be able to come together on what is such a positive initiative, and what is something that is very much about looking to the future, very much about looking to the future with optimism and hope for brighter days ahead. And for me, that's what this deal, City Deal, represents. And for us, it's a crucial part of the Executive's vision for the Northwest. And let me say very clearly and categorically here today, we are absolutely committed to investing in and regenerating this region. You'll know very well that the former Deputy First Minister, Martin McGuinness, was very passionate about delivering and developing in the Northwest and bringing about prosperity for all the people of the area. And that's a legacy that we certainly want to continue. I'm really, really pleased to say that we are making good progress through continued investment. And I think the announcement around the graduate entry medical school at Magee is also a great news story. And we've ring-fenced that funding for the project, and we're clearly on track to deliver the first cohort of 70 students starting this September. So that's again something that's very, very positive. And then alongside that, when you look at the substantial renewal of Aberdeen site, and we very much look forward to the completion of all the remaining development works there for the benefit of all in the wider area. Through the Urban Villages programme also, we're progressing the major redevelopment of Meanan Square, which again will reinvent the site as a shared space and deliver that wider economic and social benefits. And then we've also announced an investment of 1.7 million in a new arts and cultural centre at Newgate and the Fountain, and which will also help to create opportunities and breathe new life into the area. We also have the Communities in Transition project, doing great work to support and empower people living and working in the Brandywell and Craigan areas. And those are all very critical and very significant investments that will all complement each other. And there are also a number of other plant investments that will be coming forward, which again, all together have a collective and accumulative effect in helping to enhance what is so positive about the Northwest. We're going to have the new Derry City Side Health and Care Centre in the West Bank of the city. 11 different schools in the area are benefiting from capital investment. The Civil Service Building at Orchard House will see a major refurbishment, as well as the PSNI Waterside Custody Suite. And of course, on top of, this is all on top of the many other digital innovation, regeneration, tourism and renewal projects that form the City Deal and Inclusive Future Fund investment plan. So this Northwest is certainly getting the boost that it has needed and also that the people there deserve. So I'm delighted that the executive supported the City Deal and investment that will be targeted to meet the local challenges, to build on the local strengths, and of which there are many. There's just so much potential here and you have so much to offer. So thank you to everyone for actually playing their part in getting us to this point. And I look forward to seeing the transformations take place and most importantly, the benefits that it's going to bring to the local people there. So thank you very much, Mayor, for being part of what is a hugely significant and positive day for the Northwest.
Thank you, Deputy First Minister. And once again, thank you for your support in getting us to this stage. It's vital that we have the support of the Executive and the British Government, not only in funding these projects, but also delivering on these projects as well. At this stage now, we will move to the official signing of the Heads of Terms Agreement. Thank you very much. We will now have a number of videos from ministers who have sent them in from the Northern Ireland Executive. Minister Nicola Mallon, MLA, and Minister Diane Dodds, MLA.
It's great to finally see this progress on the long-awaited City Deal for Derry City and Strabane. This is a significant milestone for the people of Derry and the Northwest. It's a positive day and an important juncture for the Council and its City Deal partners. People across the city and the wider Northwest have felt let down and left behind for too long. I know the community has been behind the fight for the City Deal and this moment belongs to them. After decades of underinvestment, the Northwest now needs our support and our ambition to help it thrive. That means we need to use all levers to tackle regional imbalance, promote economic development and inclusive growth. The Deal and Inclusive Future Fund will promote regeneration, tourism, jobs and skills development and allow Derry and the Northwest to grow and help unlock the region's true potential. With the challenges of COVID and Brexit, the context of this City Deal has undoubtedly changed, but this investment is needed more than ever. I am pleased that my department will be working on the delivery of the Derry Riverfront development and the development of the Strabane Town Centre regeneration proposals. I want to assure people in the Northwest that I am committed to delivery and I will work tirelessly within my department to progress the projects that citizens across Derry and Strabane deserve. These regeneration and renewal projects will transform the built environment for both citizens and visitors and in turn will support tourism, promoting the Northwest as an exciting destination to visit, to work, live and thrive in. The strategic investment, innovation, digital and health projects, building on the presence of Ulster University and its capabilities, presents an exciting opportunity for people across Derry and beyond. In particular, I have been working in support of bringing a medical school to Derry, and I look forward to a future where our young people are not only educated in the great city of Derry, but they can be employed there, live there, and raise their families there. Because the City Deal is about all of that. It's about shaping our places for our people. It's about building a better future together for everyone. As part of our work to support a green recovery from COVID, the commitment to green transformation is another important commitment in the deal, and I know that people right across the North West want to see this transformation. Not just rebuilding after COVID, but rebuilding better, so that we can tackle together the climate crisis and create a cleaner, greener, more sustainable future. As Minister for Infrastructure, I recognise the importance of the North West to our all-island economy, especially with the links to Donegal, and there are untapped opportunities that we need to seize. Collectively, in partnership, through government and community, we can and we must work to transform our economy and grow all-island opportunities that benefit everyone in society, not just some. For the North West, we have to be ambitious and we have to recognise that the City Deal is one part of the puzzle. There is still so much more to do. That's why, in addition to the role of my department and the role it will play in delivering the City Deal, I have committed to a number of key infrastructure projects on rail, connecting the North West to our wider island, the A6, the A5, and investing in greener spaces and active travel. This is a great day for Derry City, Strabane and the wider North West region. Let us all now work together to make sure today becomes the catalyst to building and crucially delivering that new tomorrow for local people.
I'd like to start by congratulating the Council for its leadership, drive and dedication in securing funding for its City Deal. The City Deal investment of $200 million will be a huge benefit to the economy and people of the region, as well as providing wider benefits for the whole of Northern Ireland. So I'm delighted to be able to send this message of support for what is a tremendous opportunity for the Derry City and Strabane District Council. At a time when we are faced with enormous challenges created by COVID-19, this announcement today is fantastic news. It reinforces our intention to make significant investment in the region, investment in economic recovery and investment in opportunities for our people. The Heads of Terms agreement is a statement of intent, and today I want to send a message that Northern Ireland is preparing the way for significant investment in its economy. I commend the Council for its ambition to create world-class industry-focused research centres in the city in the areas of robotics, artificial intelligence and precision medicine. These centres will build on the excellent research capabilities of the University of Ulster with an enhanced focus on delivering for industry needs, not just here in this region, but across Northern Ireland and further afield. And they will create an environment for innovation and collaboration, and importantly, collaboration for companies of all sizes so that they may access and exploit cutting-edge technologies. The centres will also play a key role in developing our talent pipeline that is so crucial to future growth. We need to ensure we have people with the right skills who can adapt to the changing labour market to ensure that the local economy can recover and start to grow again. I also commend the Council for its ambition to create a step change in the digital infrastructure across the region, including 5G, while also addressing rural connectivity in areas with poor or no broadband connectivity, along with its ambitious plans to enhance the region's tourism potential. Together, these proposals will provide economic opportunity for everyone, jobs and economic growth for the region, and wider benefits to Northern Ireland. And I would like to thank everyone who has worked on this City Deal to get it to the position it is now. Even through the COVID crisis, work has continued by a small, dedicated team committed to improving opportunity and improving the lives of everyone in Northern Ireland.
Today is a significant milestone for the North West in the signing of the Heads of Terms for the City Deal, and it's great to see this level of investment in Derry and Strabane. The plans are ambitious and the focus is on people, new opportunities and sustainable growth. And as Minister for Communities, I'm delighted to see the plans looking at the Derry riverfront regeneration projects throughout Strabane. Skills and development and employability are key strands of this proposal. Much has been done over this last while to get to this point. There has been excellent joined up and collaborative approaches with all of the key partners, and I want to wish Derry and Strabane City Council and your key partners good luck in the next important phase of the City Deal programme.
Thank you to Ministers Mallon and Dodds for their kind words of support on this very, very historic day for our region. I would now like to introduce the Finance Minister for the Northern Ireland Executive, Conor Murphy, MLA.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I hope you can hear me okay. I think with some technical difficulties. I'm very much delighted to be part of this very significant day for Derry City and Strabane area. I'm only sorry, like others, that we can't be up there to join you in the Guildhall today. Very much would like to be in Derry today to join in marking with you this very significant milestone in terms of the future investment in the whole Northwest region. The Executive and the British Government are each bringing £105 million to the table, and that plus funding from the Council and other partners. The investment for the deal totals £250 million. And that's a very significant level of investment, and by some margin is the highest per capita investment of all the local city deals, reflecting, I think, the need to correct a historic regional economic imbalance in the Northwest. The projects funded have been developed locally and driven forward by many people over a number of years. And I'd like to commend all of those people from different political parties, from the business community and from civic society who have got us to the point where we are today. There's a mix of projects covering, obviously, regeneration, tourism, analytics, and a strong focus on health, including the graduate entry medical school at McGee, which I know is a very exciting project for the city, which is becoming a specialism for the region. The projects that will be funded from the Executive's contribution include substantial transformative regeneration projects for Derry City of Derry Central Riverfront and Strabane Town Centre. There will be a renewal project focused on reimagining the walled city, such a unique historical and cultural heritage for this city and region. And this regeneration will help ensure Derry remains a vibrant, world-class destination city for the people of the Northwest themselves, but also for international and national visitors and tourists. I'm pleased the executive funding for this investment plan will also be going to Derry North Atlantic Maritime Museum, extending the tourism experience across the Peace Bridge to Ebrington. This is a project that's highly anticipated and one that will attract visitors with the region's globally important maritime history. The scale and scope of these projects are such that people in the Northwest will undoubtedly see a very tangible benefit, particularly in terms of jobs. This deal is transformative. And to maximise the benefits, it's great to see that social value criteria will be incorporated into procurement of projects. Earmarking a proportion of jobs for people furthest from the labour market will help build an inclusive economy and indeed an inclusive recovery from COVID. It's also important to point out that there are other exciting projects running alongside the City Deal and Inclusive Future Fund. For example, we have the road projects, the A5 and the A6, progressing, the development of Grade A office accommodation in Ebrington, and as I announced last week, the establishment of a civil service hub at Orchard House in the city. So the future for the economy in the Northwest is a very promising one, and today is a very important step forward, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Minister Murphy. I agree with you. Today is a very, very important day for the future of our council district and the wider Northwest region, and thank you very much for your kind support. As Mayor of Derry City and Strabane District Council, I want to thank all of the ministers and everyone who has been involved in getting us to this very, very historical day. All of our key stakeholders right across this council area, all of our council officers and everyone involved. I will now hand over to our compere, Eve Blair, and Eve will take us through and speak to some of the key stakeholders and explain some of the more detail of the projects that we will see roll out in this city and district over the next number of years. Eve.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. It is my pleasure to join you today as a proud Northwest woman, from Strabane myself, so I'm delighted to see this today. I think there really is just a sense of excitement, positivity. We're hearing words just like vibrancy, historic. We cannot deny that. It definitely is something in the air today, but sure, it's always in the Derry area now. I'm delighted just to start this morning with, of course, Mr. John Kelpie, our Chief Executive of Derry City and Strabane District Council. We have Mr. Alfie Dallas, the Lead Finance Officer from the Council also. And joining us via the wonders of Zoom, where would we be without our technology these days? We have Dr. Owen McGuinness, the Senior Economist with the University of Ulster Economic Policy Centre. So thank you both, or all, very much for joining us.
Thank you.
John, if I could just perhaps start with yourself. I mean, the single biggest investment in this area, a significant step in the journey. What exactly can you tell us? What does this city deal mean for not just the city, but the district?
Well, it's great to be here this morning, first of all. For me, this is about the delivery of hope and ambition. Our project partners, lots and lots of organizations and colleagues and government departments and institutions across the city and district have been working and collaborating together on these projects for so many years that today, Eve, is the beginning of the delivery, the actual delivery of these projects. So it's going to mean great things. It's going to provide new jobs in the city and district, higher paid jobs, a greater range of jobs, opportunity, investment. It's going to mean the complete regeneration of the riverfront in Derry, investment in the Wall City. It's going to see the complete transformation of Strabane Town Centre. But very clearly today, what it's going to do, a very clear message today to, in particular, not just all of our citizens, but in particular, the young people in this city and district. This is going to provide you with real opportunity. It's going to provide you with a real opportunity to grow and prosper and make a life in this city and region. Whether you are at university, whether you're thinking about going to university, whether you're at our regional college, whether you're an apprentice or at school, there will be new, higher paid, better, greater range of jobs for you in the city and district as a result of today, as a result of these projects. That's what it really means. It means that young people can make a future in this city and district. You can have a good, high quality, sustainable way of life for you, your friends, your brothers and sisters, your families. It's a great place to be right now. It's going to be an even greater place, Eve, in the future as a result of today.
Thank you very much, John. And we will have the privilege of being able to talk to some of those young people actually very shortly. Alfie, if I could come to you next. I think we talked a bit about the projects there. What can you tell us about the cost and the value of these projects?
Thank you. Overall, it's a £250 million investment. I think that figure itself is substantial and exciting. So 100 million of that investment will go into innovation, digital and health projects, and the other 150 million will go into regeneration, tourism and renewal projects. So in relation to innovation, digital and health, we have 6 very exciting projects. We have a great starting point here in the city with so many people that are working at the leading edge of their industry. So CEDRA, digitalization, robotics, automation project will result in 25 million of investment. CARL, which is all about artificial intelligence, will be 20 million of investment. Thrive, which is our health research institute, focused on personalized medicine and genomic medicine, and really building on that really strong base we have already in the city with CEDRIC. That will be a £20 million project. And finally, under that pillar, we'll have 10 million of investment in digital and smart initiatives, really all about underpinning those city deal projects with digital connectivity and providing connectivity to those areas that aren't properly connected at the minute. So the second pillar then is around regeneration, renewal and tourism. £150 million will go into that pillar. Firstly, we'll see 80 million been spent in the centre of Strabane on the Canal Basin site, and that's really a co-location of a range of public services from council leisure facilities to a health hub to the Northwest Regional College campus to business incubation units, public realm and pedestrian bridge investment. So that's a real significant transformative investment for Strabane. Secondly, 45 million will be spent along the riverfront here in the city. And that's really aimed at creating a world-class riverfront where people want to come and spend time and stay and invest and live and study. Third component, will be investing circa 12 million into Ebrington with the DNA Maritime Museum project. And finally, we'll be investing 15 million into our walled city. Our walled city is our biggest tourism asset in the region effectively, and we all know that city and town centres have suffered dramatically as a result of the pandemic. So it's really important that there'll be tourism-led regeneration investment in our walled city.
Incredible figures when you think about it. And I think because these are areas that people use and we can see, so just adds to that extra benefit, I suppose, as well. But Owen, if we could turn to yourself now, I mean, the economic needs of the region really have been closely aligned within the city deal. Could you outline specifically, I suppose, the economic impacts?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think the projects have been designed with the economic challenges of the region in mind. So what you're looking at are impacts across a range of indicators there. If we, as economists, look at how the economy in the council area would grow over the next 10 years, we're expecting over and above that growth a further 7,000 or an additional 7,000 jobs over and above the growth that would be happening anyway. We're forecasting an additional 210 million in GVA, in gross value added, each year, over and above that baseline forecast. We're also looking key importance really to residents of the city and of Strabane. You're looking at inactivity levels falling more than they would do ordinarily in the kind of forecast growth there, unemployment also. So you're kind of seeing as employment grows, then some of the key challenging issues there around economic inactivity, around unemployment, having a sort of knock-on impact or effect there. So I think that's the types of things, I suppose, importantly for people, I suppose, who are listening today locally, 70% of those additional jobs will go, we believe, to residents, with 30% going to either people who are commuting into the council area or are coming to live anew in the area. And I think that's a key issue too. If we're thinking of transformation, we're really thinking in the Northwest region of losing young people at the moment. And this gives us the hope, I think, of a transformation whereby people can come back to work in the region or can indeed stay, study, and then take up higher paying jobs there within the city. So I think in all cases, you're looking at a good transformation there in terms of economic impact.
Well, I think the word of the morning appears to be hope so far. Owen, John and Alfie, thank you so much for taking the time this morning. We have lots still to come for you this morning. We'll be hearing from lots more voices. But first, just a little insight showcasing the Northwest. Well, you're very welcome back this morning. I'm delighted now to introduce Adrian Johnston, who is the Director of Digital Catapult Northern Ireland. Now, Adrian is actually going to take you through this next little stage. The next panel this morning played a pivotal role, really, in this process. The Innovation, Digital and Health panel. Okay, Adrian.
Thank you, Eve, and good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us this morning. I'm delighted to be with you here with a prestigious panel. I'm supposed to talk about digital innovation, which is very close to what we do, but digital innovation within health. I suppose if we look at it, digital technology has been at the forefront of innovation practices for well over the past number of decades, and immersive technologies, blockchain, cybersecurity, and of course, artificial intelligence has transformed sectors and economies, and indeed industries over the past number of years. Underpinning all of these technologies, however, is the requirement for accessible and high quality data and for digital system innovation. From 2015, as we know, UK government has been focusing on levelling up, but not levelling up at a regional level, but levelling up at a city region level. And if we look at Manchester and what has now become the national powerhouse, the Northern Powerhouse, it's an exemplar of how levelling up is not just about funding and finances, but it's more about ensuring that the right infrastructure is in place, not just physical infrastructure, but more importantly, digital infrastructure and innovation ecosystems, along with the government policy requirements and initiatives linked to economic and social growth. So collectively, along with that data and that investment, we can drive innovation, we can do research, we can do public engagement, and ultimately social prosperity. I had the privilege recently of chairing a study for the Matrix panel here in Northern Ireland around AI foresighting and economic growth with the applications of AI across a number of sectors. And our study showed significant growth across a number of sectors because of cluster development. And for cluster development to occur, we need three things: a strong research base, strong economic state of the industry, and opportunity to grow, which is driven around skills, markets, and entrepreneurship. Our study showed that AI and health alone, GVA growth would be around 24%, and the AI sector is worth $2.5 billion globally, and that'll tend to grow by 41% over the next 10 years. So there's huge opportunities that could be accelerated with targeted investment in developing clusters, which is built upon capabilities and excellence around research and industrial excellence. The City Deal investment that we're talking about this morning has an opportunity to achieve that with alignment and engagement and strong stakeholder engagement, and I'm delighted that we're engaged this morning with a very strong panel of those key stakeholders who can help cement the Northwest region as a cluster of excellence in future health and science innovation, not just for the region here, but ultimately for the whole of the UK. So I'd like to just start, if I may, with Professor Paul Bartholomew, who's Vice-Chancellor of Ulster University. Professor, you're very welcome. Ulster University, of course, have played a pivotal role right across Northern Ireland, but are a key delivery partner for the city proposals here, the Northwest proposals. You've had the newly established School of Medicine, existing excellence around personalised medicine, around AI, and of course robotics. Just in your opinion, how significant do you feel that these centres will play a role in research, and what role research-led training will have in delivering innovation and economic growth for the Northwest region?
Well, thank you very much for the question, and thanks also for the facilitation of this event done under difficult circumstances and very well, if I might add. Of course, a primary function of universities is to deliver research-led teaching, and this provides society with a rolling supply of new knowledge and applications that are essential as an ingredient of the enhancement of health outcomes, productivity, and indeed societal well-being. The City Deal, I think, marks an unprecedented level of investment in an innovation infrastructure which will form a much bolstered bedrock for this research activity. Alongside that investment in research and technology, we work through our talk provision to develop a skills environment for companies to help fuel their growth. So as we level up the research environment, so we underpin the knowledge and capability of graduates for the region. And then looking to the future, that's providing for the skill base for the industries for the years to come that we would hope to attract into this region. But of course, it's people that make innovation happen. People make up the skills environment that serve industry and impacts on the economy. And we'll support people to develop their skills, whether they be graduates or PhD students or indeed already those in employment who wish to engage in further study and short courses. And we think as we emerge through COVID, that notion of kind of reskilling will become very important. And this is an opportunity for those people too. The university already has a reputation for excellent research, And as such, we're well placed to deliver courses at McGee, especially in those priority growth areas such as artificial intelligence, the smart manufacturing systems that we've been talking about, and of course, personalised medicine, all of which support our collective wider City Deal ambitions and will deliver those benefits to health, productivity, and indeed societal well-being. Already, I think, by learning and training in a world-class research environment, anyone who engages in learning at Ulster University, no matter what stage they are in their own journey, is learning at the cutting edge and is equipped to deliver insight and value in whatever environment they pursue their career in. We see this as an opportunity to develop world-class research centres which themselves catalyse further inward investment, and we couple that with a skills development capability that a university will bring, and over the years to come I think we will together add a good deal of mutual value.
Thank you, Professor. I mean, if I may turn to Professor Liam Maguire, who's Executive Dean of Faculty of Computing and Building Engineering and Built Environment at Ulster University. I think Professor Bartholomew started to talk about the components that develop a cluster, essentially around skills and people engagement and industrial engagement. You know, we see the benefits already of the likes of AI and data in financial services, and we see the impact that it's had in the Northwest. We have 40 FDI companies here in the Northwest solely around financial services. You know, how beneficial do you think the establishment of Carl and Cedar that we heard about already this morning, what role will they play in supporting the growth within fintech, advanced manufacturing, and indeed within health?
Thank you, Adrian. Really important question, and very much gets to the heart of the innovation projects in the City Deals, because that's what the City Deal innovation projects are all about, is to get that cooperation and collaboration with those industrial partners, and actually to drive that innovation piece. So those FDA companies that you mentioned, they're here for the talent in the Northwest and the skills that come out of the colleges and the universities here in Northern Ireland. But they also are very interested in maintaining those companies. We need to drive the sort of research innovation piece, so those companies need to innovate. They're obviously competing in a global sense as well. They want to ensure that they're innovating. They want to ensure that the folks that they have employed can contribute into those advanced areas so that they can retain and sort of get more business here in Northern Ireland. And we want to do that not just for the FDA companies, but for Indigenous companies. And we want to spin out more new companies into the region as well. And these really, really important technologies of automation and artificial intelligence. And they're recognised, Adrian, as you said at the start, that in terms of the work that you've done in Northern Ireland, they're recognised as really, these are the future technologies that are going to, in many ways, determine the economic benefits of a region and the economic contributions of a region, right, if we can maximise those technologies. And as we work and do the research and do that collaboration, the City Deal projects will encourage and catalyse further cooperation between industry and the universities and make sure that that research-led piece that we do and the skills piece that we do then actually facilitates that further deepening collaboration with our industrial partners.
It's interesting you've finished on industry there, Liam, and you touched on skills and research, but ultimately that has to be transferred into industry. And I'm joined here by Sam Pollock, who's chair of the Western Health Trust. Firstly, thank you to you and your colleagues for everything that you've done in the past 12 months. What you do has been brought into stark focus, obviously, over the last 12 months, and there's been many partnerships that have occurred between the Trust and academia over many, many years. Strong partnerships. Look into the future, as an industrial partner, essentially, of the City Deal projects. Look into the future, how do you see these partnerships developing with the School of Medicine now within the Northwest, and indeed the focus of health and life science innovation within the City Deal proposals? How do you see that partnership developing over the future?
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here this morning and to be associated with such an important agreement. The last year has been about bad stuff. Our hospitals, our community services, our care homes under immense pressure and not quite out of it, but we feel we're turning the corner. But today is about the future and moving forward. We have continued to provide essential services, but thanks to Alan Moore, our director, he has also pioneered agreements in principle with the department in relation to our new tower in Kilgallon, which is a one, a development in Lisnaskea, our intention for Strabane help. Loads of of good things that will develop over the next few months, a couple of years, and it is about the future. The thing that we struggle with, which is most relevant today, young people want to train as doctors, often go to universities in England or Scotland, Wales, and they don't come back. If they do come back, they tend to come back to Belfast. And we struggle with not enough doctors. We have to bring in agency doctors. We have to do lots of things that are more expensive. But the possibility of training doctors here in Derry is just immense. It's immense for the Trust. It's immense for Kilgallon. And we're just proud and delighted that that has developed. I think that would be the principal thing I would want to say this morning. Yes, to be associated also with research on site and making the facilities of the tremendous facilities of Branshaw and Kilgallon available. That again it's there, it's ready for taking. Yeah. That would be my immediate delight in terms of being here this morning and what I see as going forward.
Yeah. And I think for sustainable growth, yes, you need to have that workforce and talent pipeline that will continuously come through. And I suppose on that point, if I could maybe turn to Professor Kilgallon, who's Executive Dean of Faculty of Life and Health Sciences with Ulster University. You know the opportunities that come from a very strong skills and workforce pipeline, obviously. And health innovation, as we've just heard, is a strong element of the North West City Deal proposals. How will the City Deal, in your opinion, how will the City Deal investment benefit what is now the established School of Medicine in the North West, but then also the undergraduate programmes that have moved with health and life sciences to the McGee campus? How will that benefit from the skills and work pipeline that we've just talked about?
Okay, well, thank you for the question and thank you for the opportunity to join with you on this very special day. This investment helps to position Derry, I believe, as a hub for the health science sector, and of course the subject adjacencies that we're creating on our McGee campus very much add value to the student experience because it provides opportunities for students to embark on multidisciplinary, both teaching and research. Indeed, just yesterday, a colleague from Health Sciences was talking to me about the opportunities that Thrive will provide for his particular discipline. So it's a really exciting time. And of course, there are linkages that benefit across our provision and across the different projects, linkages between Thrive and Carl, for example. But ultimately, and as had already been discussed this morning, these innovations are designed to help and to promote better outcomes for those that use our services. And of course, that needs a workforce to be able to contribute towards that. And when you think of how these innovations eventually become translated into practice, very often it involves the skills and the expertise of a range of different healthcare providers as they seek to explain these innovations to users of our service. So I think this provides a really exciting opportunity for our student body to learn in that environment where this knowledge is being created.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on a really strong point there as well, that it's about better outcomes for the people that live here as well, which is a key component, I suppose, of the City Deal proposals that we haven't touched on yet. I mean, if I could just maybe move to Dr. Arne Peace, who's R&D Director with the Western Trust and CTRIC, and obviously engaged with Thrive that Carol has just touched on for us. A cluster's built on strong partnerships. We've heard already this morning about a number of those strong partnerships that exist. And there is a strong partnership between Derry City and Strabane District Council, Ulster University and the Western Trust through CTRIC, which you're involved with. That's been going for 13 years, and that's really shown how an ecosystem and partnership can develop over a period of time. Arne, how will that ecosystem continue to develop? And I suppose, how will that investment impact on the work that Thrive will do? And maybe just picking up on a point that Carol just mentioned, how will we ensure that healthcare innovation will also provide that inclusive growth across the Northwest region?
Well, I suppose, thanks for the invite today, and it is very exciting to be involved in all of this. I mean, before starting, I mean, I have to acknowledge the fact that, this all began actually and really kicked off about 10 years ago, and it was really an investment that came, through the Public Health Agency and Invest NI, and the commitment that was shown by the Western Trust, Ulster University, and the council, who've been obviously leading on this region, this regional investment. So, I mean, CTRIC, first and foremost, is a clinical research facility, and it provided opportunities for bioincubation, carrying out a range of research projects and contract research, and of course housing the Northern Ireland Centre for Stratified, or what I would prefer to call it, personalised medicine. And I mean, uniquely, this partnership brought together academia and business and clinicians, but this has now expanded to partnerships with colleagues with expertise in all things digital, to include artificial intelligence and machine learning, and the use of healthcare data here in Northern Ireland, the partnership with our colleagues in our new very exciting medical school, and the partnership really with our colleagues in alignment with the Health and Social Care Board, which is vital here in Northern Ireland. And I think key to our success to date has been the co-location of the Ulster University academics and working with the clinical staff, because really and truly, it's very difficult for clinicians to drive forward research without being in partnership with our academic colleagues, and indeed our other allied health care professionals. So, I mean, over the years, we've worked with many companies, have learned a lot about doing that and the interactions with companies, and I think that experience will be crucial going forward to bring success. And I think that model is something that's been replicated in other places and other city deals, and it just highlights how it works. Crucially, we've developed very strong cross-border linkage as well in our area, and I think that's important because the Centre for Personalised Medicine, led by UU and with a variety of national and international partners, focusing on patient safety and clinical decision making, has been really crucial, and there's a massive opportunity to grow that. I mean, we've seen the genesis of companies over the years, both local companies like Medishare, who now are sort of a global industry, the likes of Elemental, who are now world authorities on social prescribing, and that's been really enlightening for all of us. We've worked with established NI-based companies such as Randox and the likes of Strabane, that we continue to work on in the development of improved rapid diagnostic imaging for cancers. And we've developed strong links with companies that have come back for repeated business, the likes of Nova Biomedical, where we've done human factor studies on patients, and Lantern Pharma, where we're using artificial intelligence to look at prostate cancer. One of the big things that we see massive development in is really our expertise in genomic medicine, and trying to unlock really the secrets of life and the secrets of long-term medical conditions through analysis of people's DNA. And this really has been a massive success in my mind, and is just going to grow and grow, and we're seeing the likes of that in Iceland. And that's led to the recruitment of several thousand patients, and really is a credit to our local community and their participation, and really how they see the importance of research, which really has been brought to the fore throughout this pandemic. So look, I'm sort of glad and can put my hand on my heart and say that we've gone from really a small building with 3 people in it to 100 people. The difficulty is now is that we're limited in that we have no further space to expand, and so the investment will allow us to provide that additional space to bring in local and foreign direct investment that at the minute we probably can't actually bring in. I mean, the other things that will develop out of this will be really an enhancement of the sort of strong areas that have developed in the area of cardiovascular disease, which is close to my own heart, pardon the pun, mental health, pediatric cancer, motor neuron disease under Stephanie Duguez, and really rheumatological and orthopedic conditions. And so all of these will build on areas that have been born from our personalised medicine centre through Ulster University, and really the realisation of its full potential will only be done in association with Carl and their expertise of machine learning, artificial intelligence, which is established, it's not a new thing, and also through the manufacturing end of things through CEDRA. And I think that what we will all strive to do is plan to develop new courses with the help of the university and actually with North West Regional College as well, to really improve digital literacy among all people involved in healthcare and healthcare research. And I think key to all of this really is the work with our community and how we bring research to the community, and hence the reason why we propose a very ambitious project of a community-owned research company, which is really akin to the model that you would see in credit union, whereby the community is consenting to not give us their money, but give us their data, and they will receive some form of dividend for that in their participation, and that's what we've been working on. And that's been seen to be very, very exciting development by anyone that has reviewed this. So, I mean, as I said, we essentially want to bring research to the community by having a more active involvement. And I've always felt that the holy grail that we have to reach out to is primary care, where most of our patients reside. And I think that that will be achieved through the Health Research Institute based at Magee, and the linkage with the allied health professionals that will be coming to the Magee campus. And I think finally it's vital just to say that we realise that we need to synergise across the entire region, and the involvement of the Western Trust means that this will extend to benefits both in the Northwest and in the Southwest.
Yeah, if I could just pick up on one of the points that you raised there, Arne, maybe for someone on the panel, but I mean, one of the obvious issues that we have with any new technologies is the adoption in the industry, and in this case it's adoption into health and life sciences and into healthcare systems. And even through our recent study, one of the areas that we find that there's a real challenge is accessibility and regulation, regulatory pathways. So as we innovate with new technologies and we engage with the public around the innovation, around those new technologies you've just talked about, Arne, do you think that Northern Ireland, and particularly now the Northwest, will be in a position where they can influence government policy, accessibility, that data, new innovations, new products, development, services? You know, I don't know, maybe Liam, maybe that's something that you wanted to, maybe you could pick up on. Do you think that we're in a position where we can regulate with these new technologies and innovations?
Absolutely, Adrian. So that you're probably aware of this. There's a lot of focus on what's called explainable AI, so that AI can be understood by everyone, and then so it's not seen as a sort of mysterious black box that people don't trust and don't understand. But so we're pretty much focused on what we would call trustworthy AI. So we actually, I think it's the step before that. So to actually use the sort of algorithms and techniques that we do to actually show benefit. So the point that Arne has made in terms of the community-based data capture approach, that's a really important first step in that. So that we can actually encourage our own citizens to actually share the data and for the benefit of everyone, and sort of demonstrate that trustworthiness of AI and trustworthiness of the benefits that we can accrue from sharing data. And I think that's a huge first step in that process. And I think then for us as a region then to reflect that back both regionally in Northern Ireland and nationally in the UK, I think that'd be a really, really important step for us to do, and what City Deal could potentially offer us. And that, as Arne very, very articulately said, the links across the two projects are very important to us as well. And actually getting that move from automation right through to the healthcare piece, and with AI, I would say, of course, the car one's in the centre and in the middle of us and driving all this, but and I would say that, but getting those two projects to link together is actually very, very important in terms of the whole benefits that we can treat. I think the sum of the parts is really, really important in this whole project.
And maybe if I could, with Professor Curran or even yourself, Sam, just around the importance of that innovation happening with new students and within that skills pipeline. How important is it to engage that innovation early on in that innovation life cycle, so they're aware of the skills and capabilities and opportunities from what will come from the City Deal projects? How important is that?
I think it's incredibly important, and this is one of the things that we'll be striving to do as we bring these groupings together. You know, we don't expect this just to happen by serendipity. You know, we have policies and intentions in place to make this a real multi-professional learning environment for students that, of course, will embrace this innovative component.
I think it's very exciting. I think the whole proposition is extremely exciting, and I can think what we can see through the conversation already, that there's a very strong engagement across the stakeholders for this to be successful, and I wish everyone every success in the various projects that they're involved with in the city deals. And as a citizen of the region, I'm very much looking forward to the inclusive growth and economic prosperity that it brings to the region. So thank you very much for your participation today, and good luck with your projects.
The signing of the heads of terms is a hugely significant step forward for our city of Region. It is the biggest single investment that has ever been made here, and it represents a massive opportunity for our citizens and our businesses for years to come.
Our mission statement within the Chamber is helping your business succeed in a successful Northwest. And that's what really the City Deal is about attracting new businesses. And the City Deal is going to be a major cash injection for the region. It's going to attract new business, it's going to attract new people here to live and to work, which is just fantastic. So we welcome it as members, we welcome it as a Chamber, and we really believe this is a really positive injection that the region needs for the future.
This investment will be felt right throughout Derry City, Strabane, and right across the region. It is indeed a momentous day for the area, and we're very proud to be part of it.
This fantastic investment opens great opportunities for so many people. The chances of new industry coming to our city, revitalising our city centre, all the work that could be done along the riverfront will bring this city to where it should be, the pivotal point in Ireland for people to come and visit.
We're a city on the move. We have made huge progress over the last number of years, particularly in investment in infrastructure and connectivity. Over the last number of years, we've seen huge development in the A6, which connects Derry Londonderry with Belfast and the Eastern Travel Corridor. We're also looking forward to the beginning of the development of the A5 and the Western Travel Corridor.
So linking innovation and infrastructure is something that we're absolutely committed to doing. And we look forward to work with the city stakeholders in going beyond these heads of terms to seeing delivery on the ground in such an important aspect of development in the region.
I am specifically working with the CARD project, that's the Cognitive Analytics Research Lab. It's based on artificial intelligence and data science. It's an underpinning technology that is going to support all of the innovation projects across the Derry Londonderry City Deal, including the CEDAR project, the Thrive project and the medical school. Very importantly, it's going to create opportunities for employment, for foreign direct investment, and really to give young people in the city the opportunity to build their careers here in the Northwest.
The City Deal will provide new opportunities for our young people and enable them to stay, to study and to find well-paid employment in this region.
And with employment comes good health. This cannot be understated as an important, if not to say vital, development for the city, and one which everybody should see as immensely exciting.
We look forward to continuing our collaboration with local industry, so as we can ensure that this city becomes one of the most technologically innovative in these islands, and hence secure a prosperous future for all our citizens.
The signing of the heads of terms is the start of an amazing journey for our city and region for years to come.
And you're very welcome back to the beautiful setting of the Guildhall. Of course, the times that we're living in, I'm sure everybody, as they've been saying, would love to have been sitting here today. It's quite funny coming in to quite an empty hall, but delighted that with the power of Zoom, we can bring you lots of voices, and those little videos that you've been watching as well, just messages of support from the City Deal stakeholders as well. So important to hear from just so many different voices that perhaps aren't here today. But we also couldn't have come this far without the support of our local MPs and MLAs who really have worked tirelessly for this City Deal. We invited all our local MPs, all our local MLAs to take part this morning, and we're delighted to welcome so many. The screen, it's starting to look like a game show or something here, all these different faces. So I'd like to welcome Colm Eastwood MP, Orla Begley MP, Gary Middleton MLA, Sinead McLaughlin MLA, Martina Anderson MLA, Karen Mullen MLA, and Daniel McCrossan MLA also. So if I could perhaps start with yourself, Colm. I mean, we really cannot underestimate the importance of this signing today.
Yeah, it's very important, Eve. I mean, we've been underinvested in this region for far too long, and this is a very, very good, positive, a big first step to turning that around. I think it's important to mention Mark Durkan, as you imagine I would, because he proposed this back in, I think, 2014, and we now have all the governments rowing together to make this happen, and I think that's fantastic news. It's, of course, when you're from Derry, it's not going to be enough. We have to keep going. We have to keep working. We have to get McGee expanded to over 10,000 students, and I think we'll all work together to make that happen. But I think there's a great first step, and what we really need to do is keep our young people here. I think every family across this region knows the story of emigration and wants it to stop. We have to keep our best and our brightest in this place and give them a life that they can be happy with. And I think if we can turn that around, turn the economy around, provide jobs for people, it will be a huge, huge legacy. And we're now on the road to doing that, I think.
An important step in that delivering that process. We have quite a few to get through today, so we'll just check on our times, hopefully. We will get back to you also. I mean, Orla, if I could come to you next, actually. We heard Colm saying there, for Derry people, it might not be enough. Well, you know, the impact of this funding package goes, of course, beyond the city, and especially for people you represent in West Tyrone.
Most definitely. I think, you know, we can't underestimate the significance of today. It's absolutely transformative. It's a day of hope and opportunity for the people right across Strabane, Derry, and I think the entire northwest region. And you emphasised Strabane there. It's good to see a Strabane woman chairing proceedings, and you know, we're shouting the loudest. We're making sure that Strabane won't be forgot about in terms of this investment, and that has been the case. We've seen a significant investment in terms of the regeneration of Strabane town, most welcome, and something which we've been campaigning for a long time. But I think in terms of the wider northwest area, this deal doesn't sit in isolation. There's been great work done right across the board, not only with elected representatives, but with different partners within the local community. And I think one of the great things about this city deal and why it has worked so well is because of that collaborative working together. It's involved the citizens who live in Derry and Strabane. It's ensured that their voices have been heard. It's involved young people to ensure that we're creating jobs for the future as well, so that we don't have the situation where people are travelling to Australia, to America for work, that they can stay local, that there's local jobs here for them. And of course, as we're looking ahead to the economic recovery from COVID-19, I'm delighted that there's going to be this jobs boost to the area, and that much of the capital works will be done by local people living locally, and that's just a brilliant news story. It's a massive boost for the area, and I really welcome the step that we have today in terms of a significant milestone in the delivery of what will be a long journey, I think, for the Northwest in terms of transforming it and unlocking the economic potential of this region.
Thank you very much, Orla. I mean, a long journey, Gary Middleton, but a journey that we have started. It's so good to see, and I mean, what a time to start this during a pandemic, but this is a good news story. We're optimistic, we are hopeful, but realistically, I mean, what do you see as, I suppose, the pathway to recovery here?
Well, you're absolutely right. Today is a good news story. It's a good day. We need more good days, and this is going to be one of many. The announcement today is a significant step forward. It's a milestone, as we talk about, but you're absolutely right in terms of timing. The recovery out of COVID-19 is something which we're all working towards. That will be both economically and, of course, socially as well. The city deal has a huge part to play in that regard, but as we know, the city deal alone will not solve all of our problems. With collective will, we can do it. We do need further investment in the Northwest, and that's why the city deal has been delivered. and we can look back over this past number of years as to the steps taken to ensure that that has been the case. And it has been very, very important. What we need is now progress and, I suppose, speed as we bring forward the business cases to try and move the projects forward. But it is going to be transformative. It's going to bring hope in terms of our young people, in terms of opportunities, but also in terms of the landscape of our city. And we've seen how that has changed over this past decade in particular. We look at the riverfront and we look at how Strabane Town Centre will benefit from the city deal as well. It's a very good news story today, but I do want to take this opportunity to thank all of the key stakeholders right across the Northwest region who have played a significant role in getting it to this point. I think the particular building that you're sitting in terms of the council and the role that many council officers, including the chief executive, and the chief executive has played a vital role in terms of driving this stuff forward. So it's very positive, but collectively as elected representatives, I think this is an example of where politically, when we work together, we can achieve much better things. So hopefully this sets a good marker down for the future as well. So thanks for that, and thanks for the invitation to speak today.
Gary, thank you very much. Sinead, if I could come to you next. I do believe you've hot-footed zoomed it to another channel. You were on the Economy Committee there. Surely this will have a significant impact really on our local economy. And something we've been hearing quite a lot about already this morning, the student experience.
Absolutely. And I think, a lot of questions have been asked, how soon will this start? Well, it has started. It has started in relation to our graduate entry medical school with the first income of students happening now in September. So that's a good start. Also, it has started in relation to the health and life sciences students that will be coming into the McGee campus in 2022. So that is a very positive start, and we all know, and we've talked about it in the city for years, that we need that expansion of the university to happen in order to give the economy itself the kickstart that it needs. We need that higher education provision here within the city that we've been starved of for so long. So it has started. It will need to continue at pace. And we are looking forward to having those 10,000 students promised within the new decade, new approach document placed in the city. But we're off. It's a day that we're optimistic about, but we have to remember this 250 million, while it is a substantial investment, it's what it will unlock down the road. It's the other investments that will come as a result of that. Our universities, they thrive on innovation and research, and it gives them a place in the world in terms of the work that they do. So we will be looking to unlock that academia investment in our Innovation and Research Centre within Ulster University and the McGee campus, and looking towards the future to build on that, and hopefully other investors will follow, and that will be the pursuit as public representatives and political representatives that we will all be chasing over the coming years to make sure that we get and maximise the results of this investment that is committed to by all parties and all governments today. And let's not forget that the Irish government has also made a political promise to the Northwest, and we will be pushing them to see that manifested also in the coming months.
Sinead, thank you so much, and thank you for taking time out from the Economy Committee as well. Martina, if I could come to you next, something that we've talked a lot about as well already this morning, jobs. I mean, what do you believe needs really to be done to make sure our local citizens are upskilled enough to allow them to maximise the employment opportunities coming from the city deal?
Thank you, Eve. And like Sinead, I've been jumping out of an infrastructure committee to be here with you today. So it's a fantastic day for Derry and Strabane, and the city deal and inclusive growth package. They will be accessible and provide opportunities for our young people, especially those who are furthest away from the labour market, the job market, if we do this well. And I have confidence in Derry City Council and all of the stakeholders that we will do this well. And as I was listening to the Finance Minister, Sinn Féin Conor Murphy, this morning, and the joint First Minister, Michelle O'Neill, I was very reminded and struck at the role of Martin McGuinness, the late Martin McGuinness, has played even to get us to where we are today. Because this city deal, this package, the inclusive growth package, has given more money per head of population to our city than any of the other city deals. So this is the biggest investment that Derry and Strabane has ever had, and it's not the only investment when we listen to the other schemes and projects that the ministers have committed to and have actually put money on the table. So this is where hope and reality comes together to shape people's lives in Derry and Strabane. This is real, it's not aspirational, so we can skill up our citizens and we can afford them employment and skills with this £250+ million, plus the other projects that will be coming forward. And this particular package will enable us to successfully draw on the links of the stakeholders coming together, McGee, the community groups, the training colleges, our regional college, council, social enterprise, John McGowan, the fantastic work that he and others do, and employers, in order to provide and improve the lives of the people of Derry and Strabane by training and giving them skills for the job market, for jobs that are going to be available for Derry and Strabane. As I listened to CTRIC today and the representatives there and Professor Kern and Maguire, I know the opportunities for students absolutely are quite evident. But we also need to ensure that we go to the hard to reach, and we need to match the training opportunities in the needs and shape them in the needs of the local labour market. And I think there's a very exciting project there. If we look at, for instance, the Greater Chantala Area Partnership, the Community Works programme that they did before, there's an opportunity for a new Community Works programme here, building on local communities and councils working collaboratively together to identify those needs and the jobs, the 7,000 additional jobs that this will bring to the table and to the city and region. So the local employers, we need to ensure that we incentivise the local employers. So for instance, when they're offering apprenticeships, we want real living wages, meaningful opportunities. Sorry, this is what happens when you're on Zoom. You get the doorbell ringing, and ban CRR contracts and day one workers' rights. And so there's lots of opportunities for us to capture. And I want to acknowledge the work of everyone who has been involved in this, and particularly John Kelpie and Derry City Council. But look, this has been a joint approach. This is a fantastic day. This is a good news story for Derry, and let's build on the 250 million and make sure that the young people of Derry and Strabane secure the opportunities for employment going forward.
Martina, thank you so much. We better let you get that door. Thank you for your time. Karen, if I could come to you next. Martina touched on quite a bit there about collaboration. The work to date on the City Deal, we've seen significant progress and collaboration between council, the university, other stakeholders as well, really to expand the offerings at McGee. How will you as an MLA then ensure that they're supported to continue and build this partnership through the City Deal and beyond as well?
Thank you, Eve. And firstly, I want to start off by thanking Mayor Tierney for this morning. I have been able to be here all morning, and when it came to time of this panel, I dropped off. So glad to get back on again. This is a great day for the city and district, and it was really good to hear this morning more detail around the projects and beginning to see the rollout of the projects. Like others here, I also want to commend and congratulate all who've worked really, really hard to get us here, particularly those in the background at times that we don't always see. I suppose back to the question, the development of the partnership of Council and the University of Ulster and the work of the Strategic Growth Partnership demonstrates the ambition and the potential that we have here in Derry in the Northwest. And in the many conversations that I would be involved in meetings, I am assured that the partnership between Council and the University is solid, and we will see that further develop and grow. The injection of the City Deal funding makes a gear change in terms of research capacity with the School of Medicine and the Life Sciences, which we are now seeing to begin to be rolled out. And we will see Derry as a major medical training facility. And we heard a lot about that this morning, and it was very exciting to listen to it. So we look forward to being part of it. I suppose for my part, and speak on behalf of my party, we want to assure all the partners that working on City Deal, including the Council and University, that they have our full support. Our party was instrumental in pushing and campaigning for Derry to be included as part of the City Deal programme, along with everybody else on the screen and all the other partners. And as Michelle O'Neill said earlier, we are totally committed absolutely committed in terms of our party and our involvement in the executive to Derry, Strabane and the wider Northwest region. So I want to just finish off by saying to Council, the University and to all the parties or all the other partners that our door is always open. And I look forward to continuing to work with everyone as we set about delivering this investment. Thank you, Eve.
Karen, thank you very much. And last but no means least, Daniel in the middle there, Daniel McCrossan. If I could just ask you, I mean, you are on the Education Committee as well, so particular interest, you may have a few, a big boost really for the education and skills in the city and district, but particularly the plans for the Northwest Regional College and the Strabane campus.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an investment that has been long overdue and it is transformative. It's transformed for Derry City, it's transformed for Strabane and the region. But this is a very, very good day. I haven't stopped smiling since this announcement came about this morning. And I know that the people right across Derry, Strabane and the region will be very happy and excited about what lies ahead. People know, if you're from Strabane, you will know that areas like Strabane, border towns, have suffered neglect for decades. This is a new starting point, a new day for us all, for every one of our people, regardless of their background or otherwise. This is a good announcement. And I'm extremely excited about it. In terms of Strabane Town Centre, the announcement around Strabane Town Centre is transformative. If you look at the £18 million leisure facility, the £8 million public realm, the £21 million spent in the health hub, which will support current services, but also bring about greater services in terms of mental health. The Northwest Regional College, as you've mentioned, a £10 million investment, £7 million in a new civic building, £4 million in an innovation centre, £6 million in a bridge. This is a starting point. This is the launching pad today for a big change and an exciting change that lies ahead. And I am very, very happy today that the vision of John Hume, of Mark Durkin and others has finally been realised for this wider region. I'm very, very proud of this project and proud of the work that my SDLP colleagues, leader and MP for Foyle sitting beside you, has done on this, but also Mark Durkin and John Hume did for Derry and the wider region over a long period of time. I understand it's a good news story for Derry, but today this is a great news story for Strabane. And as a Strabane man, I'm very, very happy to even claim this as a Strabane deal because it's so good for the people of this wider area. This has taken a huge amount of work and effort, and we have to applaud the effort of the local council, but also in terms of every single representative and stakeholder that has played their part. This is real. This is a new beginning for this area that has suffered. And let's remember, there's other announcements coming down the tracks. Nicola Mallon will hopefully soon be announcing the A5 project, a key investment to this part of the island. And also, there's a £3 million youth facility for Strabane coming, and there's the 10 million Riverine project. There's a lot of money and investment finally hitting this area, and it is very long overdue, but it is very exciting indeed. And as you can tell today, I'm jumping for joy, and I'm very excited working ahead with everybody to see this vision realised. This is a new start for everybody, and we should all be very proud of how far we've come.
Well, a lovely way to end that up, Daniel. Thank you so much to all our politicians for joining us today for the panel in the Guildhall on Zoom. We very much appreciate you taking the time out this afternoon. Thank you very much. As I mentioned before, we are delighted to bring you some videos and just a little bit of extra support and messages from all walks of life and people who will be affected and see the impact of this city deal. I'm delighted now to bring you Dr. Arne Kilgallon, the Chief Executive of the Western Health and Social Care Trust.
I'm delighted to congratulate Derry City and Strabane District Council on the announcement of the City Deal and future funds and the agreement around this funding for our district, securing economic and social regeneration into the future. I want to acknowledge the hard work that lies behind the success of this Heads of Agreement. I also want to compliment the City Council for working with us on the initiatives that pertain in particular to our trust. I'm thinking in particular of the Thrive development on the Galvin site, of the postgraduate entry medical school, and of the development of the new Strabane Health and Care Hub. These initiatives will make a huge difference to the sustainability and quality of care for our local population, and will ensure that we can attract and retain the highest quality of workforce to serve our needs.
Dr. Arne Kilgallon, Chief Executive there of the Western Health and Social Care Trust. Well, it is an area that we've talked about a lot this morning, and I think everybody is just excited for the future, for the benefits of the young people and students of this area. So I'm delighted to introduce our next panel this afternoon, City Deal, the benefits for young people and students. We have Martine Mulhern, Principal at St. Cecilia's. Martine joins us in Guildhall this afternoon. Danny Walsh, one of those young voices that key to hear, a very important voice to hear this afternoon. Leo Murphy, CEO of the Northwest Regional College. Malachy O'Neill, Provost of Magee, Ulster University. Matthew Devine, another young person that we are delighted to have on our panel this afternoon. Gavin Killeen, Chair of the Education and Skills Outcome Delivery Partnership and MD of Newprint Technology. So you're all very welcome this afternoon to the panel. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Martine, if I could just start with yourself. Yes. From a secondary education perspective, we've heard quite a bit about preparing for this city deal. How are we preparing our young people to secure those roles in growth, such as the sectors such as digital, health and life sciences?
Well, we're very lucky in the city because we have a very, very strong and vibrant early learning community, and we work very closely together in our planning. And we have worked very hard and working in partnership with the Northwest Regional College also to make sure that we can provide the broadest and most diverse range of qualifications that we possibly can in these growth areas. And most importantly of all for me, we make sure that we do it at vocational and academic levels, because it's really important that all of our young people, regardless of ability, see a pathway for themselves in these growth areas. They may go on at different levels, that's absolutely fine, but they need to see the possibility. So it's really important that we provide them with the adequate qualifications that will enable them to do that. We also, as you know, have very high quality teaching and learning in our schools, which results in outstanding results, and that's well known. And as you know, ourselves have just recently been awarded UK Secondary School of the Year.
I saw it in the one show.
Absolutely. I just feel that we represent everything that is good and excellent about all of our schools in this city and this council area. So it's lovely to do that. The other thing that we've been able to do and work on is make sure that we have comprehensive careers programs in our schools. And we're very, very lucky to be able to have the support of School Employer Connections. And they make sure that we have access to bespoke careers sessions and taster sessions, and also high quality work placement programs. So all in all, I think our young people are going to be very well placed to take advantage of all of the opportunities that they're going to have arising out of this deal. And I'm just, like everyone else, thrilled about today and so excited about the future for our young people.
Thank you, Martine. Now, Danny, if I could come to you next. We've been hearing what young people should be feeling. They should be feeling well placed and excited. What are you feeling about this city deal this afternoon?
I feel happy about it because it's £250 million coming into where we live for not just signs that we need these, we need good universities and good high paying jobs to keep us here. So you feel happy when you see that there's big companies coming and giving us high paying jobs that in the future we can go and do. I'm in my last year of school in Strabane and I'm going to uni. I'd rather stay here but I can't. But for next generation, for a couple of years time, I know there's high-paying jobs in the Northwest that I can come back to, which is what you want. I'm from Strabane. I want to be in Strabane living because this is where I'm from. And, when you look at, all the things that are coming to Strabane town, it's going to regenerate the place. Instead of just saying the only thing in Strabane you can do is go to Asda, now you can go around the Canal Basin area, which will be good. And even down by Derry, it's not too far for young people to go to. And at least then there's places to go in our area where we can go hang out with our friends and do things instead of having to go away places. No, it gives us somewhere to be and you feel proud to come from here and you feel like there's something keeping you here now with the jobs coming.
Danny, that's lovely. You do get a sense of pride when you're talking there. Do your friends share the same ideas about staying and wanting to come back?
Most of them do. We do want to stay here because this is where we're from. Our friends are from here, our family's from here. So we really don't want to try and leave. We do want to stay here, but the majority of us, of my classmates, are staying and going to Belfast University because without these, there is no university places in the Northwest that do their courses with this McGee campus. We can stay here. And then we know when we finish uni, we can go and get a job here, which is what we want. We don't want to be moving, but we have to at the moment, which this is the good thing of the city deal. It gives us an option to stay here, which is what we want.
Danny, thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. Leo, if I could bring you in at this point. The Northwest Regional College obviously has played a pivotal role in this city deal. Listening to Danny and just hearing, the views of young people want to stay here. Young people want to get trained in this city, in this area, and get a job in this city, in this area. As a third level learning institution, how will you provide that skills pathway to enable the support for young people to do that?
Well, I was glad to hear a very youthful and positive view from Danny, who wants to stay within the region. I think the key thing, our role in the Northwest Regional College is the largest provider of skills across the region. We see this as a very broad sweepy. The important thing about this city deal, certainly the high-level innovation projects will help bring the quality of R&D. What we see we do in the North Regional College is, as well as supporting innovation in our business support centre, is the work we do on skills. We have too many people far removed from skills to get into work who today might look at City Deal and say that's far removed from the life I'm living in. So the Northwest Regional College with other providers has an important job to provide a pathway of professional and technical skills for young people and adults. So I really want to see the school leavers look at professional pathways in terms of apprenticeships, in terms of higher level apprenticeships. So the degree isn't only the one and unitary pathway to consider at all times. The higher level apprenticeship pathway, students like Danny and Matthew consider, it means you earn while you learn. You go straight into employer and one day a week you're in the college studying a higher level apprenticeship. So there are many ways to climb that particular hill. What I think the important thing for us is that everybody has to feel part of the city deal. And I say that's the important piece about skills. For us, driving forward to the outline business case for Strabane is an important piece, but also the work we do. We're one of the 4 signatories today. That's very important for the role of the Northwest Regional College. Sometimes people, in the importance of driving forward the university, which is very important to the city, sometimes people forget the importance of the old Strand Tech and the work it does in this city, lifting people's skills up, getting them to employment. Lastly, at our Board of Governors, we had a presentation of our business support team, and they were working out of the new jobs that have come to the city in the past period of time. They have put 230 people into new high quality fintech jobs in terms of alchemy and Fintu. So we're taking many graduates when they finish, coming back in for short intervention courses in the college to get work. I suppose the phrase we use to determine for people is, if you haven't got a job, we try to get you skills to get you a job. If you have got a job and you come to us, we try to give you more skills to get you a better job. And that's the focus of our institution, making sure we're close to work and working collaboratively with the university and with all the other business and civic partners. What you get today in this deal, which is quite unique across regions, you get absolutely one integrated voice from council, from chamber, from the university, from Citric, from the Western Health Trust, and support of the absolutely brilliant post-primary school sector we have in this city and region. So I think it's a bright opportunity. We've just needed that kind of capital push and lift to get those infrastructure things in place, and I think we can do the rest from there ourselves.
Leo, thank you so much. It has been the catalyst, I suppose, to kickstart this almost. Malachy, if I could bring you in now. I mean, the degree option isn't for everybody, but for many students it is. Perhaps you may just wish to enlighten us a little bit about that pivotal role as well that the Ulster University played in this City Deal project in attracting third-level students.
Yeah, thanks, Eve, and it's great to hear that the youthful voice of Danny and see Matthew also on the call today. In university terms, as a strategic partner in what is truly a momentous City Deal, we're primed, obviously, to deliver on the innovation projects, and in doing so, support skills development and transformation, and working in partnership with Leo, Martine, and others across that space in the city region. That central placement of ourselves and our role in delivering courses at the Magee campus specifically in these key priority growth areas such as AI, artificial intelligence, smart manufacturing systems, and of course personalised medicine. It's in these areas that we will support and deliver on the ambitions of City Deal through these specific projects. Like Northwest Regional College, like the schools across the Foyle learning community and across the wider Derry City and Strabane District Council area, each of us are playing a role in helping to drive forward the skills agenda. We're committed to providing that kind of talent pipeline, but also serving the ambitions and the innovative spirit of our graduates who can maximise the opportunities and indeed create new opportunities in this Northwest city region. It's as a university in the city space, the City Deal enables us to heighten our capacity to deliver research-led teaching of an international quality and retain the talent of young people like Danny, like Matthew, and their peer groups across the city region, and for a sustained period and in a wide range of discipline areas. So this is a momentous day. It's a hugely exciting milestone and landmark achievement to be at this point. The City Deal and its suite of catalyst projects will make Derry and the surrounding region an even more attractive location in which to study, work, live and invest, and we look forward to working with the likes of Danny, Matthew and many others in university terms in delivering on those programmes and career opportunities going forward.
Malachy, thank you so much. Matthew, if I could come to you next, I mean, do you share Danny's views? How has this changed your hopes and your ambitions for the future?
Oh, absolutely. This is a fantastic day for the region. And as someone who's involved in many different youth groups across the city and district, it is going to be massive progress. You know, this comes after decades of being left behind, but what we do have now is real progress. That's progress in so many areas: health and well-being, infrastructure, tourism. But the key one is, for me and for many other young people, is the Magee expansion. You know, this will be absolutely fantastic for allowing young people the opportunity to live, work and study in the region that they call home. And that will be transformative for the entire region and for across Northern Ireland. But in terms of the future, you know, my hopes and ambitions for the region have always been strong, but they're as strong as ever. And the future looks so uncertain at the minute, but this is a massive vote of confidence in our future. And what we need to see now is delivery. We need to see people working together so that we can create that region of opportunity for everybody.
Matthew, thank you so much. It's just great to hear our young people. We've been hearing the benefits for young people all morning, but it's just great to hear from yourselves. Thank you so much. Gavin, if I could just finish up with yourself. You played an important leadership role in the skills development in the city. How important are these pathways to growth sector?
Thanks, Eve. These are critically important, and in my view, it's really two-pronged. You know, I'm within the Education and Skills Group that I chair, and it's very, very much employer-driven. You know, two of the projects that are promoted today, the Carl project and the Cedar project, both came from conversations that happened with employers being around the table with academics and looking at what could happen in the future. You know, it's been well articulated the number of companies we have in the Northwest that play a prominent role throughout the world and are world leading in their own particular fields. Our challenge in the Northwest is we just don't have enough of those type of companies, and we need those companies to grow and expand and to create opportunities for our young people. And I think that this proposal that we have that we're signing today, which is a sea change for the city, allows those companies that we already have to engage in those centres of excellence, to use academic research to drive them forward and for those companies to become even better. That creates the demand and the need then for the talent pipeline to come through, for the opportunities for our young people, and our young people coming through, you know, with technical expertise and technical knowledge that's needed for the industries of the future. And that's where working with the Northwest Regional College and with the universities and along with the schools and the Foyle learning community that Martine has mentioned is critically important. And this will be a sea change, but it's these two combinations together helping our businesses to grow, and that growth being supported by having a talented, capable workforce coming through, and then that workforce will then create further growth and create opportunities. Businesses need talented, skilled workforce to create the products of tomorrow, and those two combinations will be a sea change, and hopefully as we move forward will be transformative in what may happen in the Northwest.
A sea change indeed. Gavin, thank you very much, and thank you so much to everyone on the panel. Just a really important panel to discuss those issues. Thank you so much for taking the time to Zoom and to come into the Guildhall this afternoon talking about young people. I'm delighted to bring you another video this afternoon, just a message of those young people that will be impacted by the announcement.
My name is Sarah McCluskey and I'm a second-year student at McGee studying personalised medicine. Leaving school, I had this divided interest in maths and medicine, and I ended up pursuing maths for a number of years outside of Derry. But throughout that time, my desire to be involved in the field of medicine never really left me. After finding out about the personalised medicine course at McGee that didn't exist when I left school, I felt that it was this perfect blend of both of my interests, and to make things even better, it was available on my doorstep, in the place where I'm from, and in the place where my family live. I've studied and loved elsewhere without ever realising what was on my doorstep, but I'm so glad that I eventually did, and that this course is here, opening up opportunities for me and for many others from Derry and elsewhere. It's the only course of its kind throughout the UK and Ireland, and Ulster really is a great university to study at. When I graduate from this course, I hope to study a computational-based PhD in the hopes of pursuing a career in medical research. And I would like to continue studying here, and I want my future to be here too. We actually already have an exciting research community at Citric and Altnagelvin doing cutting-edge research, and with the Derry City deal, I can only imagine this community growing. This deal is going to bring so many opportunities to Derry, and I'm really excited to see it unfold and for the people of Derry to realise our potential and to see what we can become.
You're very welcome back to the Guildhall this afternoon. It is my pleasure now to hand you over to Karen Phillips, Director of Environment and Regeneration with Derry City and Strabane District Council. Karen will take you through this panel and introduce you. Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you so much, Eve. And welcome everyone on the panel. This afternoon we have a very prestigious panel of experts who will go through the regeneration and renewal projects of City Deal. We have on the panel Helen Quigley, the Chief Executive of the Inner City Trust, Peter McDermott, Chief Executive of Pat Kirk Motors and representing the Strabane Business Improvement District. We've Andrew Healy, who's the Chair of the Ministerial Advisory Group on Architecture and the Built Environment, Odrin Dunn, Chief Executive of Visit Derry, and Aidan McCurder, our Head of Culture at Council. And before we go into the details of the panel and the questions this morning, if I could just say that, you know, from my experience working with partners over the last number of years in the development of the City Deal projects, my experience is of a number of individuals who are deeply committed to this city and district and who have a great wealth of experience, knowledge and expertise to develop these projects, to pull them all together, and they will piece together like a jigsaw to reveal the future of the city and district. And now, in moving forward into the delivery stage, we have the opportunity as a region to demonstrate our commitment to sustainability, to demonstrate our commitment to tackling the climate crisis, to respecting our heritage locally, and indeed to make the beautiful city and district that we have even better and even more beautiful. So firstly, if I come to Helen, Helen is Chief Executive of the Inner City Trust. As you're aware, the projects are primarily public sector led, and how can other sectors respond to this opportunity?
Well, thanks, Karen, for the question, for inviting me along today. And just before I answer your question, may I join with others in congratulating and expressing my gratitude and appreciation to all the Council and the stakeholders for bringing this about today and getting those commitments signed off. I suppose, Karen, city deals by their nature are aimed primarily at putting infrastructure in place and creating confidence for others to come and join in the investment. I think, you know, we need to understand that the investments that were announced today are not an end in themselves, but that they are actually will act as a pathfinder to facilitate other sector investments. And I suppose our experience from the city deals we know about across the water, really the money initially has been a pump primer for future and further developments. And in fact, they act as a key catalyst to unlock opportunities for others to invest in. And I think that's the key, you know, from our perspective. The public sector have come to the party. We also now need to come to that same party. We need to think about what does the announcement mean for us today as individuals. I will be looking at what it means for my organisation, and I'm sure others will be looking at what does it mean for their organisation. I suppose last night, Karen, in preparation for today, I took myself out. I thought initially for 2 minutes to try and reimagine, where will the city be in 5 years' time? Where will it be in 10 years' time? Where will it be at the end of this investment package? Thankfully, I hadn't heard Alfie rattling off all of the investments in detail, or I may never come back out of that a quiet spot. But I think we really do need to think, what does it mean in a practical terms? I live by the acronym of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So I started thinking around, here we are now, we're going to have new students, we're going to have new jobs. What does that mean in terms of accommodation, further housing, leisure, hospitality? And it was with interest that I heard one of the speakers saying that at least 70% of the jobs will be for the citizens of Derry and Strabane and the wider area. We're moving away now from the old industries. We're in the new tech industry and all of the innovation that we heard about this morning. We're going to have much more disposable income in the city and region. And I think that is significant. I also believe, as I said earlier, you know, that the city deal will act as a stimulus and give us the confidence to invest. And for me in particular, I will be going away today, having all of the detail now. I thought I knew quite a bit about the city deal, but seeing the detail today, I will be going away on behalf of my organisation, and I would encourage others from the private sector and the community involved in the sector to examine what we heard was announced today, the recent announcements about the medical school and the additional 850 schools, looking at that and saying, where is the benefit for my organisation? What business can I derive from these announcements? And I think we need to be about our business, not sitting back for 2 or 3 years and the whole thing has snowballed off and we're being left behind. So I think for me, my message is quite simple. And I think that we need to go away, examine what we heard today, work out how those investments will enhance our business, what benefit can we derive from it, where are the opportunities, and what investment do I need to put in to contribute and to work alongside the public sector investment that we've had announced today.
Thank you.
I also think if we're thoughtful and if we use our investment, we're in tight time for coming out of a pandemic, and survival is the name of the game for quite a lot. So I think we need to be very thoughtful about that investment. It needs to be very targeted, and it needs to complement what we heard this morning. And I think in order to widen and deepen the prosperity, we need to view the city deal as a starting point. And I believe that is factually correct. This is a starting point. We're on a journey, and we need now to embrace what we heard this morning. We need to do it positively, and we need to be proactive. And the great statement I heard this morning is we all need to lever up now. So I hope that goes some way to answering your question, Karen, but I believe that there's huge, huge opportunities for other sectors and that we now need to come to the party.
That's brilliant, Helen. Thank you very much. And Peter, as a key business leader in Strabane and representing the Strabane Business Improvement District, can you comment on how the private sector can respond to this opportunity?
Karen, thank you very much for inviting me to answer the question. Today, I mean, is a sensational and exciting day for a news story for Strabane and indeed West Tyrone. Just a wee bit of background. My family, Karen, have been in business in Strabane for in excess of 50 years, which I've been part of that family business for now over 30 years. Growing up and working in the business, I've experienced lots of things like the troubles in Northern Ireland, and indeed more recent years, in 2008, whenever we had a recession. I've always had a saying when people talk to me a few years ago about the recession, how did it affect us? And I've always said Strabane has never felt the effects of the recession because Strabane has continually, and we've always worked through a recession in Strabane. We have now in excess of £250 million, 76 million of it is destined for Strabane. As many of you know, Strabane has suffered for many years with social deprivation. The Regeneration Plan helps tackle some of these issues. The Regeneration Plan takes on health, it takes on education, takes on leisure, takes on connectivity. The Regeneration Plan takes on the Canal Basin and the associated buildings that have fallen derelict over the last 20 years, and which is in the town centre. The regeneration will put life back into the town centre, which is very much needed. For me, for the private sector, I welcome this exciting vision for Strabane. Never before has Strabane seen that level of investment of figures of £76 million. It's mind-boggling, that amount of money. The plan will bring people back to our town centre for health, for education, for leisure, for culture. Surely this can only be a good news story for the private sector. Not only will it bring confidence for the private sector to invest, but it'll also bring about a better quality of life for people and the businesses in Strabane and the surrounding areas. What's very important, and the important bit that I will, and these are my own questions, okay? How do we carry this exciting regeneration plan forward? How do we present it to the private sector? Because we need them to buy into it as well. We need to support this for the people of Strabane, because this is for the people of Strabane. Never before has Strabane had an opportunity to turn around its misfortune of social deprivation like it has today. So this is a new beginning for Strabane. And I, like Daniel McCrossan earlier, obviously been born and bred and lived and had a business and have been continued to be in business in Strabane, would be very passionate about the town. And indeed, I'm excited about this good news story today. So that's from my position. So thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Peter. And I think really following on from both of those comments, I think it's so important moving forward, the engagement with the private sector and the further development of these regeneration and renewal projects. And Andrew, as chair of the Ministerial Advisory Group for Architecture and the Built Environment, what strategic outcomes or benefits do you see these regeneration and renewal projects delivering?
Thanks, Karen. Like so many others this morning, I just think it's an amazingly exciting opportunity for Derry, Londonderry and Strabane. It's the level of investment. It is transformatory. It will make game-changing improvements to the quality of the places. And it's about making sure that that's targeted and it delivers the benefits that we all think it should and could. This investment will focus unashamedly on the hearts of these places. It will make sure that the life in terms of people living, people working, people visiting is right in the middle of these places. It will recognise the importance of the heritage. So in terms of the walled city, it will be playing to that strength of that wonderful history and the heritage that's there. But it's also really confident in terms of the new investment around the riverfront and around the centre of Strabane as well. These are confident, forward-looking investments that will make both the city centre and the town of Strabane increasingly distinctive places, and they become places which local people will hopefully have an increased sense of pride in, but other people will want to invest and visit in as well. The scale of investment also means that issues of climate change can be addressed comprehensively. Other people have talked as well about inclusion and accessibility. Absolutely. We need to make sure that this makes all of these places that people from all backgrounds, all abilities, feel that they have equal access to these wonderful opportunities as well. And I guess I've been really encouraged by the council's approach to quality as well, saying, right, okay, this is an opportunity to make sure that whatever is delivered to a quality which is befitting of these wonderful places, but which also makes sure that the potential is fulfilled. So hugely exciting time, and yes, look forward to playing our part in supporting and encouraging what's going on.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. And Odwin, coming to you, from a tourism perspective, what benefits do you see the projects delivering?
Hi, Karen. It's great to be here today, and fantastic. After a really challenging year, and which continues to be for the tourism sector, this is a fantastic day and a great announcement for us to support our recovery plans. I suppose from a tourism perspective, tourism is a very complex ecosystem, and all the announcements today around the City Deal project and £250 million investment will play a part in the whole supplier chain and the demand for services within the city and district. So that's only can be good for the tourism industry locally here. Within the tourism and regeneration strand, obviously the projects have been mentioned previously. The walled city tourism investment is fantastic for us to build international brand of the city. The Strabane Town Regeneration Project, the Central Riverfront, and obviously the DNA Museum over at Ebrington are all fantastic additions to the landscape of the destination and the place. And I think that's really important to build civic pride and instill pride in local population, because I think all of that will make it easier for us to enhance the visitor experience. But the tangible benefits are probably increased visitor numbers, obviously, which is so important, and to reach our target of 1 million visitors by 2025, ensuring we have a lot of commercial reasons for people to spend money, and ultimately sustain more businesses and more jobs in the sector. And through all of this, the big thing is that we're given a vote of confidence to the local industry and the investors, the businesses who are currently investing in the city and district, that there is opportunities coming down the line, and hopefully it will be a strong vote of confidence for new investors to want to come to the city and invest here. Is a great place to invest.
Brilliant. Thank you, Odrin. And I'm going to ask all members of the panel to comment on how we ensure that the wider city and town centres are connected to and benefit from the investment in the physical regeneration and renewal. And I'll come to you first, Aideen, as Head of Culture for Council. Can you comment on that connectivity and wider benefit?
Yeah, I think the benefits of these projects and the benefit of this overall investment is it is firmly rooted in that connectivity, in creating a place, creating a city and a town centre that are really attractive places to live and to work in. And you know, we're a city and district that is renowned. You know, these projects put the heritage of the city and district right out front and centre, and really celebrates it. We're also a city and district that's renowned for our cultural programming. And that cultural programming has seen us through, you know, many's a day, and it will see these projects to success. It will be the lifeblood that will come around these projects and animate them and bring them to life. And that will make this place, as I said, really attractive to live in, to work in. It'll also make it a really attractive place to visit. And it will be a really attractive place for our cultural programmers, for our cultural organisations that are already here, but will also be an attraction for new ones and for people to come and be part of this place and to develop the cultural programming. And that's what will connect it. That's what's always connected this place, and that's what will step up and come around this. So that's what makes this really exciting, because this isn't just a collection of projects. This is a whole step change and a whole new way of being for particularly our city and town centres.
Thank you, Aideen. And Andrew, could you comment on that sort of from a built environment and connectivity perspective?
Sure. I guess there are going to be lots of elements which are about the physical connectivity, but in a way, Helen's already touched on it. There's an issue here of ensuring that the communities, whether they are business communities or residential communities, all think quite carefully about how they can connect with this in terms of their contribution. Because this is going to be a long-term project, and it's about making sure that those sense of connectedness with individuals and groups is embedded from the outset, so that then the physical elements of it then play their part. But it's a combination of the communities being connected and then the physical connections. And we've seen about the importance of greenways. That's already been mentioned this morning. And walking and cycling is going to become increasingly important as we try and address the climate emergency and head towards a carbon zero targets.
Thank you, Andrew. And Peter, are there specific Strabane connectivity issues that we need to consider?
Well, whenever I maybe look at connectivity, I would maybe look at more in terms of the likes of our roads and I mean, obviously we have a new A5 dual carriageway, which obviously, Nicola, we're hoping to see this being getting the green light once and for all, because this has been a very important part for Strabane again, and to connect obviously Strabane to Donegal, to connect Derry to Donegal, to connect Strabane to Dublin and Belfast. So, I mean, obviously the first phase of that to get this rolled out to connect the city of Derry to Strabane, I think is a very important part. If we all look about how we travel today, I mean, the way we travel has changed over the years, but unfortunately our infrastructure and our roads have remained stagnant for the last 20, 30 years. And we really urgently require that connectivity in terms of our roads and our infrastructure. I mean, Strabane once had a railway station. I mean, the only way in and out of Strabane is on our roads, and it's a hugely important investment that we get this, we get our infrastructure and get our roads connecting the way we need to get connected today.
That's great. Thank you, Peter. And Helen, can you comment on that aspect of connectivity? I suppose, in particular, connecting the walled city to the rest of the riverfront and Ebrington, and further connectivity within the city centre.
Yeah, well, I think Aideen touched on it there. We want to make the city attractive. We want to make it a place where people want to be. We want to make it walkable. We want to make it livable. and all of that. But I think, Karen, there's a job of work for us to do here. But I think back to 2011 and the lead up to the City of Culture. And our big fear was, how did we get Joe Public and all the businesses to engage in a proactive way? And the council at that stage took roadshows out around the communities, into the playhouse, into the walled city, into the business community, out to other investors and, you know, the hotel industry, hospitality and all of that, and to ensure that nobody feels left out. Because, I mean, this announcement today has been immense. Those of us who have been around the subject matter of city deals had a vague idea. I personally had no idea the depth of the investments and the announcements that were made today. So I just think we need to get out there. We need to do that outreach. We need to make sure that everybody is informed, that they know what is happening and how they can contribute and make that connectivity, whether it's down in the waterfront, whether it's in the walled city or elsewhere. But I think that's a very important piece of work that we need to do going forward. It is a journey and we've just started on it. And I would like to see that happen. And I think that would be the best way to make sure that everybody understands the potential and the benefit from this announcement today.
That's great, Helen, thank you. And Odrin, finally, how do we ensure the tourism benefit is felt across the whole district?
Well, I think the focus on the tourism strategy to date has been maximising the potential of the walled city, where the Wide Atlantic Way meets the Causeway coastal route. And whilst that still applies, we're seeing a bit of a paradigm shift here in terms of sustainable tourism. Consumer sentiment is changing all the time over the last year, and we feel that's an opportunity for Derry, Strabane and the Northwest region to come into its own. We have a fantastic natural product in terms of our geographic location, and it's how we sweat those assets. There's no reason that the whole district can't benefit in terms of our sustainable proposition by developing products and experience that will tie in with this new consumer sentiment. I think through lockdown there's been a greater appreciation for what's on our own doorstep. And I think now is the chance for us to sell together as a district that it's a great place to live and to work, and ultimately that'll make our job far easier and being able to attract more visitors wanting to come to the destination and experience the destination. And I think this will support our recovery plans and help us all to build back better together.
That's brilliant, thank you. And I'd like to just thank all the panel for taking part today and hand back to you, Eve.
Karen, thank you so much. And I think that just leaves me time just to thank every single person, everyone who was involved today. What an immense day, I think, as Helen Quigley said. An historic day for the city, an important day for the city. There is an air of excitement. You know, we're starting to process, go down the line with this, and I think we've got so much support from everywhere. That really exciting times ahead. Just a big thank you, as I say, but also, like the City Deal itself, there's a huge team working behind the scenes here today so that we could get everybody up on screen, get everybody spaced out, everything properly done today. So huge thank you to John Kelpie and to his fabulous team at Derry City and Strabane District Council. Importantly, the full Heads of Terms document has now been uploaded to the council website. So do check it out. Have a wee read at it. As Helen Quigley just said there herself, you know, I think people knew a little bit about the City Deal, but didn't just know exactly what was included. So a really exciting, positive read for your Wednesday afternoon. So that just leaves me to thank you very, very much indeed for joining us. We'll just finish off with another video this afternoon. Just one of the many impacts the sector's impacted by this wonderful news today, showcasing the health and life sciences. Thank you very much.
Why don't you come home to us?
I
grew up here. I grew up in Buncrana, so being able to come home and get to spend more time with family and friends was actually a big attraction. We have a really diverse range of people working within the centre at the moment. They come from all different corners of the world.
If I can quote the Derry girls, everyone knows everyone. And it's actually, for me, for being an immigrant, it's actually a good thing. I know the clinical staff here. I know all the nurses here. It does facilitate one-to-one interactions, and that's very important for science.
Oh, why don't you come home to us? Why don't you come home to us?
I think the School of Medicine has been of such strategic importance both to the university and to the city for such a long time. The move, certainly in medical education, which is what I do, has been to move out of those big conurbations and establish education in communities that really need it.
Around about 3 years in, things were really taking off for us for elemental, and we were starting to get lots and lots of contracts with NHS organisations and housing associations. At that time, there was lots of great things happening in Derry, so there was a really big attraction for me to move home, and I've never looked back since. It's just been the best decision ever.
I moved to Derry about 20 years ago. If we can get people interested in coming to the Northwest just once, they tend to want to stay. I think that's evident of all the big FDI companies that have come to the Northwest. Once we get people teased into visiting the Northwest and spending a little bit of time there, they want to stay, and that was certainly my experience.
We used to live in big cities, but when you have kids, young kids, it's more challenging to have them. I mean, living in Paris is very stressful. So the first thing I noticed coming here, by 15-20 minutes you can reach the kids, you can reach your house, you can reach the work, which is extremely different than what we could have in Paris or in Washington. So this is a huge difference.
Why don't you come home to us? Why don't you come home to us?
All the various leisure facilities that we've access to and the natural environment, all those things together are just exceptional. I could be doing an open sea swim in Benone, for example, cycling back into Derry and then going for a run around St Colum's Park.
You can not only develop your career but really enhance your lifestyle as well. You don't have to be in what would traditionally be seen as a kind of centre.
There's lots of lovely walks that you can do. There's really great areas to go for a swim. Surfing is a huge thing here. There's a lot of outdoor activity that really help you to sort of find a balance between work and life outside of work.
I would go on my scooter to work in the morning, and I would put the earphones on, and I literally cross over the Peace Bridge. Is a great energizer, and I don't have to jump in the car, and I can just get to work really easy.
I love going to Brook Park, especially the top bit where you can see the whole city. There's so many spots where you can go and have a good time, especially if you have a young family. It's great.
Why don't you